Welcome to the Illegal Podcast. This week we are going to be talking about nostalgia. We're going to get into it right here and more, so stay tuned.
We've reached a conclusion on the podcast.
Boy, oh boy, does that intro seem long when you gotta wait through it. Holy shit.
I thought you were going to be the one to fuck it up, Rob. I really did. I thought you were going to lose your shit for a second.
Oh my god. Welcome to the
To get him
show.
with the scissor that wasn't a scissor, you know?
The scissor kick.
The one-arm scissor.
The one-arm scissor, yes.
Alright, yeah, so this week we are going to be talking about nostalgia in general. Tons of aspects of it, whatever you got. We all kind of, I'm sure we're going to have a little different things to talk about. Who's got some shit really ripped and raring to go?
Ripped and rare, and I got some things on my end. Was reading some articles while we were trying to set this up, and some of the cooler quotes I've seen about nostalgia was like, your memories are idealized versions of the past that never existed, and it just shows the frailty of the human mind when you try to look back on your childhood memories and stuff. It's kind of like a sanitized version of like the actual factual history of what happened. So I just thought it was kind of interesting to think, like, everybody that's, you know, so confident of, oh yeah, me and my friends went down to this creek and we were like fishing, and like maybe you didn't go with your friends and you were just pretending you were with people because you were cool. I don't know. It's just interesting to see, like, you know, think... like what you think happened is maybe not entirely factual.
I don't think his argument is that past didn't exist. I think his argument is that memories are the big things that are fictitious,
exactly,
and made up, and can be taken
skewed
for truth when they were not happened. Like, you could one day maybe remember that helicopter crash when you're super old, your dream that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
All of a sudden that really happened to you, and you tell that story and you believe it or something.
Well, it's also like perspective too, because everybody can have like the good old days. For you might have been not the good old days for that same person you were hanging out with. Like, say you're like, you idealize your first relationship and maybe it was great for you, but maybe you were a piece of shit and it's like the worst time for that person. So it's kind of interesting to see that too.
But then, I mean, the good old days are always subjective.
Oh yeah, I know.
And if one person believes that a section of days are the good old days, then they are by definition the good old days. So you're wrong.
No.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because it's like it's all about your perspective. I wasn't even thinking about that kind of stuff as far as nostalgia, but someone that like might be like, man, the good old days, like when I was in, you know, Christmas, and we'd wake up and it'd be like this and it was so cool, and every morning it'd be like this, and then all of a sudden like the brother or sister's like, no, none of that's not how any of it was.
Right, yeah.
It was fucked up. It was super dark. It rained all the time.
Our father beat us.
Dad used to fart in our face.
Even just like, even slightly like, not even too old of times where people are like, man, things were just better back then, you know? Like, you know, people our grandparents' age, like, oh, back in the day, things were just better. It's like, to me, it's just like, certain aspects might have been better, but did you fucking forget about polio? Like, what the fuck? Like, the world we live in is fantastic compared to, like, the good old days. Are you fucking serious? You mean when your cousin died at fucking 21 from stepping on a nail? Like, what the fuck? Good old days. Fucking.
That's what Ray likes.
People died at the fair.
Well, I mean, I think
so much more exciting.
Our last topic that we talked about, like Star Wars, we were just talking about Star Wars not too long ago. I mean, like, that's banking on nostalgia. Disney owns nostalgia for most people.
Well, that's just kind of like the film world in general.
Notoriously busy though.
And I mean, not all of it. There's totally new content coming out still, always, and there always will be, because humans are fucking crazy and we can think about stuff. It's weird, I know. But as far as the bulk of where the money lies in the film industry is rehashing old product.
For
Well,
sure.
yeah, definitely now, because I don't know if you guys seen recently where like Martin Scorsese compared the Avengers films or movies like that to like theme parks, kind of like how Disney has their theme parks. We're like, oh, it's just adding on to it, and a lot of films in Hollywood right now are rehashing. Like Ghostbusters just released their most recent trailer, and
Yeah,
that's just all nostalgia.
tugging on the nostalgia strings hard.
Oh yeah, like it's just nostalgia sequels now. It used to be nostalgia remakes about 10, 15 years
Yeah.
ago, and obviously they had remakes before, but it's not nearly as much as it is now. Like Jurassic Park, man, everything you can think of.
While we're on the topic of Ghostbusters, real quick too, on that trailer, I think that looks really good, and nostalgia's a lot of the reasons, and some of the old guys actually signed up for that movie, so I'm sure they're going to make some sweet cameos. But what's really cool about it is, if you guys haven't seen it, it's like the children of the Ghostbusters, and they're kind of like they don't even really know. Like they're like, what are you talking about? Like they didn't even know they were like ghosts, and it's like, oh yeah, ghosts have been gone for 80 years or some shit. And then they're like, pretty much it's just running on nostalgia. They pull out the fucking car, the same one that was in the old movies, and the whole thing's just running on that. But what's really cool is it's like in the movie it's the kids of the Ghostbusters, and then but in real life the person who's directing it is the son of the person who directed the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like hand in hand. It's almost I feel like it's almost like a fucking, from his perspective, is like he was a kid almost. Because he was so tightly, he was like so tightly wound up in like the Ghostbusters thing, and now he's older and he's fucking making a story about pretty much how that shit is when you're a kid.
Oh man, it's moments like this I really wish I gave a shit about the Ghostbusters. I'd love to nerd out with you about it, but I just don't care.
Yeah. I enjoyed the originals. I watched them like once, maybe twice. I
Same.
never gave them a whole lot of time, but
They're solid movies.
They're definitely not like Back to the Future or anything.
I disagree. I would say they're equally as revolutionary as that for like the time period of the 80s for sure. Like ask anybody, like big movies from the 80s, Ghostbusters is coming up in that conversation.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I just read that the Mask 3 or the new Mask movie was finished. Or no, it was the new Ace Ventura, I think. And all they had to do is show it to Jim Carrey, and as soon as they get his approval on it, it's a go on it.
Interesting. More nostalgia tugging.
Yeah, for sure.
It's awesome that they're asking for Jim Carrey's permission too. That's pretty sweet.
Right.
I'm guessing that was probably a part of it.
Yeah, maybe he gets
you're not going to
a
release
decent say or something.
Probably after Dumb and Dumber, he probably thought he filmed a good movie, and then that shit came out, and he's like, "What the fuck was this?
Yeah.
I didn't sign off on any of this bullshit."
Right. I think more interesting, I just recently, just to throw in Jumanji, like obviously it just came out with the sequel, and that's more nostalgia playing off a sequel. It was kind of cool to see at the very end of that. It's not a spoiler or anything. It just had a cameo from the aunt from the original Jumanji was in it.
Mm-hmm.
She was like an owner of some diner, and I'm like, oh, like so people like me, of course, with nostalgia growing up in the 90s, you're like, oh, it's the aunt, and it has nothing to do with like just shares the same name from the 1990s one or early 2000s, whenever it came out. I think it was the 90s.
Never mind. I was getting ready to reveal a major spoiler for The Mandalorian, but.
No, I think
it's not really that major. Like, let's ask a question real fast. Is revealing cast of an episode of The Mandalorian, like the actual cast member, like
okay, so in real
that...
time, the most recent episode was 2 days ago, and this. See, fuck you, Ryan. You weren't even prepared. Get out of here,
mother. I'll be so angry. Why do you have to say spoilers in every episode?
It's not a spoiler.
It's just a cast.
2 days old.
He's his father.
But I mean, Bill Burr was in the preview, so it's not like that's like a.
Okay, yeah, that's not a spoiler.
Okay. Well, there we go.
He was in
Bill Burr.
the trailer for it.
I don't know how I got there, but somehow I thought about Bill Burr being in The Mandalorian.
Jumanji, Bill Burr.
Really excited.
Yeah. I mean, that's it though. Mandalorian is literally.
Oh yeah.
Taken on that nostalgia too. Yeah.
Of people like Boba Fett. He was the coolest character, and he got such a fucking ass role in fucking Star Wars and just went out like a bitch. And then they're just like, we gotta do something.
I know.
Here.
I forgot exactly how it happened too, because I literally watched Return of the Jedi yesterday, and it's literally like Han turns around and hits him in the back, like with a fucking spike or whatever, and it fucking just sends him to the Sarlacc pit. I'm like, oh, yep, that was a pretty badass character right there.
Just went out so terribly like that. No one would ever go out like that, let alone Boba Fett.
Yeah, this is
fucking Jabba in, and then fucking made him the new leader. That would have been a cooler storyline.
Star Wars, the king of nostalgia. You know, they had Solo come out too. That was just fucking. That's another just thing that just like, man, that was cool. We gotta fucking do more on that. Bank it on that.
Honestly, I was shitting all over that Solo movie until I watched it, and I was like, this was a fantastic fucking movie. I couldn't even say anything bad about it.
I enjoyed the Solo movie. It's just not a Star Wars movie, like, and it shouldn't be branded as such. But the story in the movie and the production.
I disagree to both of those points.
Yeah, it's canon.
Yeah, it's canon. Yeah. I think it was an alright movie, and definitely Star Wars related. Like, it's got the same elements of pretty much every Star Wars film, I think.
Does it have lightsabers?
I don't think there was a lightsaber in it.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it ever happened.
Then get the fuck out of here.
Anyways, before we get too further on nostalgia, I thought it was really interesting. I was just reading one of the other articles, and it's saying where nostalgia, the word, came from. And it came from two Greek words, nostros, meaning return home, and alagos, meaning pain. So I think it was developed in the early, 1800s. Some scientist was saying that it was mostly, it used to be a mental illness if you looked back on the past like that. Yeah, a lot of soldiers did, apparently. You know, obviously, like, you're sent to war at probably back then, like 13. Yeah, it's got nostalgia. We got to drill a hole in his brain.
It was like a disease they had cast on you. You'd be like, you have nostalgia.
Well, they probably I mean, if you look at it like that, that's if somebody has that kind of nostalgia where they just they have these feelings about the past, where the past was way better, and they don't think that their future can ever even match it. Like, it really is a mental disease. Like, that definitely deters that human from doing, at least hitting par in their normal day-to-day life, I think.
Yep. It says it was considered a mental disorder in the 17th century, so it was way off in the time, and it was by a Swiss physician named Johannes Hofer. Funny name. Anyways, that's just a little history on it. But
funny
what
foreigners.
do you guys think of
Do you guys remember Dunkaroos?
Yeah, they still have those, man. I seen them somewhere recently. Dunkaroos.
I think it was harder to come by, like, the exact stuff, because I remember seeing tweets about it. I was looking into that also.
Oh no, it was in a video where someone found a 10-year-old pack of Dunkaroos and ate them.
Oh man, it's probably a poor choice. What about some other old? What about those Lunchables? I don't know if you guys were Lunchable eaters.
I'm pretty sure they still have Lunchables, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, still.
But yeah, I had a...
Still.
They're just capturing on that nostalgia.
I mean, yeah. They're awful. Like, as a kid, you think it's the best thing ever. Have you tried them ever? They're terrible. It's just dry pizza that's, like, warm.
You guys remember
it's cold.
The colored ketchup?
Yeah, dude, that was terrible. Yeah. And you know what's weird about the colored ketchup, right? It's because you would think that, like, the color, like, red would just be super unappealing for, like, a human. It just looks like blood, right? Yeah. Just, like, we just eat that and it just makes sense because tomatoes are red. But, like, you would think that would be the most unappealing color of ketchup. You think, like, a green or a purple would make more sense because tomatoes are also green.
Mm-hmm.
But that it's just like there was something about it where it just like it was just not right.
Yeah, well, I think
we've had red ketchup for so long; it's like built into our DNA.
It's just normal.
Yeah. Well, that red also triggers hunger too, psychologically. That's why McDonald's has red and yellow for their colors.
I want to play VR laser tag. I'll be able to play laser tag with you guys.
How about just laser tag in general? Nostalgia.
Well, yeah,
Ray used to play that all the time.
About laser tag and then
yeah.
Ray's backyard with just laser tag.
Oh,
I remember
paintball too. Paintball's fun.
Yeah,
there was something that I used to. There's a couple things from back in the day that I really enjoyed that aren't around anymore. One of them was this thing called Jalouse, I don't know if anyone remembers it, but you remember like Squeeze-Its, like Squeeze-It bottles?
Yeah, I think so.
Like they used to be like they're like little fucking plastic. You'd juice in them. You'd drink as a kid, but instead of juice, there was like Jello in it, and you'd just be like.
So it's like a Go-Gurt, kind of.
Go-Gurt with Jello.
Yeah, a little bit, but like in like a Squeeze-It bottle. Like they have kind of Squeeze-It bottles today, but they don't call them Squeeze-Its. I don't know what it was. I'm sure it's an easy way to just flash it on the screen.
Remember that fucking
in the future,
I think
we'll
it
check
was a pencil or something like that. It spun, and then like there was like a little like lead that came out.
What was it?
It was pencil or something. It was a candy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would just put out this like slightly hard syrup or something like that.
Brian's just over there eating pencils in grade school.
Let me see if I can't find it. Give me a second.
Trying to say it's nostalgia for his fucking weird ass.
Back to nostalgia. Did you guys like the movie Karate Kid?
With Jaden Smith?
No. Like the OG Karate Kid with Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
Oh, Will Smith's kid.
Have you watched the new Cobra Kai series on YouTube? It's fucking cool. It's fucking cool. It's very dramatic, very over dramatized, like, you know, all modern TV is.
Right.
But it's the parallels with and how many of the old actors that they got. It's awesome. They basically got everybody but Mr. Miyagi, and he's still in there in some like shots of it. Must have been like from deleted scenes or something that we never seen out of the original movie.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah. But it's super fucking cool, you guys. If you enjoyed Karate Kid, definitely give that a
I've seen it's doing well. And you gotta have YouTube Red for it, so like an original.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
You know I got that shit. You guys remember Orbits? It was like a drink, and it would have like little like gelatin pieces like suspended in it.
No, you're too old for this.
It was called Orbit. It'd be like a clear liquid, and they'd have different color like little Jello circles. And what was weird about it is that they'd all be like floating at different levels and shit, and they'd be like stationary. You could like do this with the glass, and they'd all like stay where they were at. Like they never like they all floated at a different level, which is really weird. I always wondered how they accomplished such a feat.
How it feels to chew 5 gum.
God damn it. And then he just did nothing.
Yep.
That's kind of how it feels, to be honest.
Yeah.
There should just be a commercial that's like how it feels to chew 5 gum, and a guy just puts a fucking piece of gum in his mouth. He's just like
tilts his head a little to the left.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I miss nostalgia wise? I miss a lot of the old TV commercials. They were just so fucking shitty, and the toy commercials especially were so over the top.
Yeah.
Like it was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
There's an awesome YouTube video if anyone wants to seek it out. It's literally called like every 90s commercial ever, and it's all like a bunch of just every like part of
like every
90s
toy commercial had an explosion.
Yeah, it's funny to see what celebrities were in those too, because they have that old Street Sharks with Vin Diesel. He's like promoting Street Sharks puppets, and he's like playing with them and making them sound like super cool. And I'm like, what? Fucking went from this.
Oh
to
yeah,
Fast
I used to
and Furious.
have those. I don't think they're called Street Sharks, were they? But I remember them. They were like
was
sharks
old,
that had
yeah.
like feet and like muscles.
Yeah, that was Street Sharks.
Street Shark.
Yep.
Street Sharks.
And then I think even
Did you ever watch the TV show Street Sharks?
I did.
I remember it vaguely.
It wasn't great.
Same.
I think I have a vague.
How long do you
remembrance
guys
of it
think
as
it's going to
well.
be until they remake Street Sharks?
I
You
don't
think
know.
After this
2020
episode
or
drops?
2021?
Oh, well, if you look at our track record of saying shit and then it pops up within
Yeah.
6 months, I would say probably within 6 months to a year, we'll see something on Street Sharks coming to fucking theaters near you.
Just Brian, since you're on the computer, just fucking
We're all on the computer. What are you talking about?
just Google like new Street Sharks trailer, because it's probably just dropped 23 minutes ago. Go.
This
Oh
is
my
what life like CG animated Street Sharks would be.
Oh, probably terrible. What about the dude from Breaking Bad, Aaron Paul, I think his name is? He was also in like a
Logan Paul's brother.
commercial. No. But he was in a commercial for, I think, like some breakfast cereal when he was super young.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember exactly.
He was
what
on Price is
serial,
Right.
Yeah, I think I've seen that too.
Oh, bitch.
Yeah, you guys seen the show The Toys That Made Us on Netflix?
Yeah, I've watched a couple.
Yeah, it's like about like all the old school like Ninja Turtle toys and He-Man toys and.
Those are like pretty long episodes too, aren't they? Like 45 minutes to an hour per toy.
Yeah.
You talk about?
Yeah, like like per like genre. Like I think the first episode's about like Ninja Turtles. Just talk about. They talk about the series. You know, everything that it's about. Now they have like I think they have another one called the TV shows that made us or the movies that made us, and it's the same thing about like just old school movies that were just so impactful on people's lives. They're still around today, getting remade and mentioned all the time.
The Lion King.
Okay.
I mean, Disney's kind of the worst offender in nostalgia.
Netflix adaptation.
Are they the worst offender, or are they the best person at it?
The worst offender.
Shit out of Recess.
Easy, dude. I mean, some of them are they're just so bad, and when you go back and someone watch the originals, and they're not, they're obviously not as good as you remember because it's of the nostalgia. So they remake The Lion King, and everyone's like, well, this is ass because the original was just so good.
I thought Lion King 1 and 2 were both pretty good.
I don't think I've ever seen 2. I'd only seen that original cartoon.
And they had Lion King 1.5.
Or 1.5. God damn it.
That's stupid.
But even Netflix, how Brian, what were you saying earlier? You said something was getting adapted to Netflix. Netflix has been doing some nostalgia stuff too.
For sure.
I didn't say anything but I think that there should be a Netflix original series, live action Recess.
That could be interesting. If they get the right people, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But Netflix bringing back, I mean, you guys probably seen in the last year Invader Zim and then also Rocko's Modern Life come back.
Yep.
I really dug the Rocko's Modern Life one because it kind of like took a hit at nostalgia. It was basically just like, why are you watching this through the whole thing? Just the creator was basically just like, why is this still a thing? Why are we even bringing this back? And then like the whole episode was around that too, so it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like Stranger Things.
Zim was cool though.
Yeah, Invader Zim was cool. Yeah.
Didn't that come back? I haven't watched any of them.
Yeah, the Enter the Fortress. It was a movie. It was pretty good. Like, I don't think it was as good as Rocko's Modern Life. Yeah, it was just a movie.
Just a movie.
But it was still good. They had the same original people, Jonan Vasquez, who made Invader Zim, still did the animation for it. And
I think it's the same with the Rocko's Modern Life thing too. They got like all the original
same creator and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty sweet. I mean that is really cool that we live in an age now where like that kind of shit where like Netflix is just like, yeah, fuck it, man. This shit died 20 years ago and people are still like downloading it illegally on fucking line. Like, we got to do something, take advantage of this while we can. I mean, because that's how that shit is done, That's fucking like Netflix, like The Office and Friends are still like the most streamed shit on Netflix, and that's just old school.
Yeah, I love both of those shows, to be honest with you.
About the ultimate nostalgia for Two Girls, One Cup. No.
I can't wait for the remake.
In high definition.
The Disney animated
Three Girls, Two Cups. No,
I was thinking Disney animated. Yeah.
Disney animated.
Yeah.
Do the reverse what they're doing.
Well, they're taking this straight to live action.
I got another weird quote about nostalgia. Nostalgia is ambiguous and is often a flood of feelings that diverts us temporarily from the present that immerses us in the past. And he was talking about nostalgia triggers of smells and different music that bring you back to that time. And those are the two strongest things. Apparently it's saying like the average person can detect about 10,000 different odors. And like when you hear or when you smell that one smell, you're like, oh, grandma's house, or like something randomly that will trigger your mind. It's crazy.
Well, I think that's also the same thing like with like Alzheimer's patients and people, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Or people with dementia, like even if their mind's gone, they can still like sometimes recall things like the smells and music from back in the day and shit like that. And I think it's just like, again, I think at an early age, that shit just almost gets programmed in your DNA from like literally gets programmed,
Yeah, because it's saying that the nose is directly connected to the limbic system of your brain, which is where like emotions are housed, or emotions are housed. So like obviously like you hear Avril Lavigne and you're like, oh man, high school, or wherever, like whatever song that brings you back to that time.
I hope you read that on your screen and that wasn't your pull from your actual brain.
That was his brain pull. That's what happened.
That was. Can you confirm that was a brain pull?
No, it's not. It says in this article, it says, for example, an otherwise forgettable Avril Lavigne song that was popular in 2007 can transport you back in time because Girlfriend can remind you of being 12 years old. So I've just pulled it from this article, actually. I wish it was just my fucking brain, but no. Anyways, like any songs or bands back in the day that you guys are happy are coming back? Like a lot of people are freaking out because MCR is coming back and shit.
Nothing like that, but you know, I have a bunch of old CDs. I used to be into like a lot of underground music and shit, and I got a lot of old CDs that have just been sitting there that I just haven't been able to like throw away. And I'm just like, I gotta get rid of these things. And you know, I don't even have like a CD player I would use, so it's like, why do I even have these, right? And I was looking to throw them away, but I'm like, let me see what some of these are going for on eBay. And man, out of some of them I just didn't have the CDs for. Some of these old school CDs like I have are super rare, and some of them are even like signed by the people. Like there's some of the shit's going for like $180, $160 on eBay, and I'm like, well, here we go. I'll throw this on there. Right. And you know, some of it's some good old school shit, but some of it's not good. And I'm like, it's got to be nostalgia. People are like, man, I had this shit fucking 15 years ago. And it's out of print. No one's printed it, and you know, ever. It's probably a 300 disc press for local fucking, you know, kids in Detroit.
100%. Like,
and you just can't get it anymore. You can't download it online. You can't get it fucking anywhere. So it's just like it pops up on eBay all of a sudden. You're just like, yeah, I need that.
Yeah, can you imagine being one of the kids around like 8 Mile, like when Eminem was coming up and he was just handing out these fucking mixtapes and shit? If you had one of those cassettes, you'd be like,
one of those Maxell cassettes.
$100,000 easily.
I wonder how many like terabytes in media has been lost to the ages, like beyond like just normal nostalgia value, like going back to like Library of Alexandria, like
probably
before.
Less than what is created this year.
100%.
That's probably absolutely true. I mean, I guess unless you could capture it all in 4K or something, but like, you know, you could probably capture all the media,
about, like written documents and like actually recorded data.
Brian, you sound weird.
Which is what I assumed. Well, you sound weird now.
Oh no, that's better.
No. Well, what about I'm not even talking about like that. Just what about let's talk about let's just say there was a mural painted on something. You know, it was the best mural ever made 10,000 years ago by a human, right? How do you even translate a hand painted mural where some poor fella had to go out and like pick up fucking berries and smush out make his own paint and shit? Like, how many terabytes of data is just in his body alone just to come up with the process to get the products to make the end product that fucking disappeared?
Well, if you take a picture, how much mass was in the universe like back then versus how much mass is in the universe now, then it's pretty close to the same.
How do you document that? Is that what your question? Because you can take a picture via 20 megabyte file.
I mean, if you're talking recorded data.
Hey Ray, why do you look like Amish Indiana Jones, dude?
That's true. That's Indiana Jones, man.
Amish Indiana Jones. I'm gonna take that. I don't know, but I like it.
Putting that on my business card. The Amish Indiana Jones carries a whip powered by the sun.
Archaeologist that walks everywhere.
I mean, aren't they making another one of those? Also talking about nostalgia remakes.
Borrowed Rise.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I think they are making another one. They're trying to make the Crystal Skull never happens. Trying to bury that.
What's his face? The fucking
Harrison Ford.
Damn it. Yeah, Harrison Ford. He's not gonna do anymore, right?
No, I'm pretty sure he signed up for it.
Yeah, I think they're doing one more.
Yeah. Oh, okay, and then he's done.
To take a second.
I was gonna say, what are you talking about? He's
somebody else in the Indiana Jones role.
He's all into these nostalgia sequels. He was in Star Wars.
Yeah, but he didn't even. I don't think he even wanted to do that Star Wars movie. I think they just had to like pay him a obscene amount of money to get him to do it.
I don't think he wants to do anything, dude. He seems like
I don't think so
crabby
either.
old asshole.
I just want to fucking fly my helicopter around and save people once in a while. That's it. That's my life. Other than that, I just want to chill in my house and leave me the fuck alone.
I think he's the exact opposite. I think he has that exterior where he comes off that way in interviews and stuff, but he loves that shit because he was in Blade Runner, that sequel. He's gonna maybe do the Indiana Jones. I think he's just like standoffish where he's like, fuck that, I don't want to be in this shit, and then he's just like, hey, I love that.
Well, I think he just wants to reboot all his old franchises one more time and get that one last paycheck.
One last paycheck.
It could be.
Did you see him back in the day? He was in that David Blaine special. Did you see that?
I was gonna bring that up. Yes, that was hilarious. He's like, "Get the fuck out of my
house!" He's so pissed off. He like invites a magician into his house, and he does a magic trick, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of my house now!"
What the fuck did you expect him to be? He's a magician. Yeah. Did you want him to suck?
And it's not like he like did something crazy. Like he just
no, that one was crazy. That one was.
Well, I mean, like it's not like he didn't cause any like damage. He didn't like stab anyone, and like I'm good. And he was ruined. He didn't pull like a piece of lint out of his body or like throw up a frog. He was just like, there's
his arm.
Yeah. He was like, there's a card in this piece of fruit, and he was just like, get the fuck out of my house. And I think he was just mad that he ruined one of his pieces of fruit.
Maybe. Yeah.
He didn't even care. He didn't even understand the magic of it. He just cut open fruit, and he was like, there's garbage in your fruit now. And he was just like, what? Why would you? I paid 23 cents for that orange, and you're just gonna fucking throw garbage in it?
Go fucking reboot another franchise now.
Get the fuck out of my house.
I said I was done with the Force. Get out of here.
I specifically said you could come, but I said no magic. I told them no magic.
God damn it. What about some old games you guys used to play?
Rampage.
Oh yeah,
Rampage was good.
Rampage was solid, but that was like in hindsight, and those games were so bad. Well, like when you go back and like try to play them, you're just like, these
Rampage is
really
still fun.
bad. No, it's bad. It's bad.
It's fun. No, it's fun.
Maybe
this is gonna be
maybe the
divided.
Nintendo 64 remake. I mean, when's the last time you played it though? Because I mean, they have it at barcades all the time down here, and like I'll be like, oh, this shit was so good, and then you go to play it, and you're just like, this is unplayable. It's unplayable.
I played it a few years ago.
For me, I think it's a different story from like a single player perspective versus a party game. If you get a party game and you're playing somebody else, that's competitiveness, and competitiveness for me is almost always fun.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter the game.
But if it's single player, if I'm just going to go back and play Rampage by myself, I bet that would be a pretty shitty time.
I can see the not even just competitiveness of just playing a game with a friend too. Like just even if it's cooperative play, like that makes it a lot better. Even if it is like Rampage, because you could do the 2-player Rampage and destroy that fucking shit. Or well, it was kind of competitive too. I remember with the amount of score.
I'm excited one day to have some nostalgia actually with Rob here about that fucking game that we played together. That we broke
Tommy
out of
Swords?
prison. Remember that one time?
No Way Out.
Yeah, Tommy Swords.
Yeah, No Way Out. I mean, I'm excited for.
That's weird that you bring that out.
We get back together and play that game one more time. You know what I mean?
That's weird you say that. I was just thinking about that game yesterday, and spoiler alert if you haven't played it by now, but
I don't even know the game you're referring to.
It's a game called No Way Out. It's about breaking out of prison with a buddy.
It's about breaking out of prison and
awesome game. Like they're fantastic. Rob had to buy the game, and he could give access to the game to one person to play the game.
Yeah,
that other person could play the
Son of a
game.
bitch.
Yeah, but that works with anyone. Like I could play with any one of you guys. It's like it doesn't forever have to be Brian. Like anyone, you could download the game right now, and if I invited you, you could play it just because I have it. Which is a really cool concept.
It's meant to play 2-player.
Yeah, and I was like, that's such a cool concept. I honestly didn't even care if the game was good. I was like, that's just something that needs to be supported all around. So I'm gonna give these guys my money. Like, you just buy it, and any of your friends can just play with you, even if they don't have it. That's fucking just good stuff. So anyway, in this game, you play. It's constantly split screen, so you can always see what the other person's doing, pretty much. And it's all you have to sometimes do shit at the same time. It's really clever, and it was pretty cool. Not a bad story at all. But the story starts with one person is in prison, the other person is like kind of coming into prison, and they like become friends and decide to like break out of prison, right? And I kind of had the idea at the very beginning, and then I was like, no, that doesn't even make fucking sense. But they get out of prison, and at the end, the guy who at the beginning who was coming into prison ends up being a fucking like cop or FBI agent or something, and he went undercover and to fucking like arrest you. And I'm like, wait a second, why did they break me out of fucking prison to arrest me? That's the dumbest fucking. What's the point of that? Did I miss something?
Don't think it was just for that guy. I think it was for the other guy that we talked to at the end as well. The big bad guy.
The big bad guy.
Yeah, I think the FBI wanted him as well.
The boss.
Well, then it ended in a shootout between the two main characters.
Boss.
Yeah, well, that was some trust-love issues, you know.
Yeah.
This game sounds gay.
And then I killed. Ended with me killing
we were
Brian.
In prison, dude. What else do you do?
Well, what's cool is like it's got two different endings, right? Depends on like who kills who at the end.
Yeah.
So like I ended up killing Brian, and I like went to his like wife's house and was just like, your husband's this fucking pretty cool guy. And just fucking like walked off into the sunset. It was pretty cool. But yeah, we'll replay that in 20 years.
Moon shoes?
Yeah, those are so stupid. Moon boots.
Moon boots, yeah.
They're mini trampolines for your feet.
Yeah, and they worked not good. Like, yeah. I don't think you jumped any higher.
And in fact, probably a little smaller
because
they would only go this high, so you could only like get the traction of like that much spring.
The real question is, did you guys own Heelys?
I did not own Heelys, but I would be good.
I always wanted to.
Well, you said that like you owned them for sure.
No, it just one of those things I always wanted to own. I just never.
Said you didn't have Heelys, right?
I didn't know. I always wanted them. I'm in the same camp as Ryan with this one.
Yeah. Like, those are sweet. I'm gonna buy them today. Just go to work and.
You're just walking. All of a sudden, you're not like.
You just glide out of the back.
See you later.
I remember the first time I seen some kid just walking around and just start fucking gliding through a hallway. I was just like right. Fucking.
I remember the first time I seen it, I was like,
dude, I want magic carpet.
I wanted that so bad. I was just too old already. I was like, I couldn't do it. But I wanted them. I was just like, I wanted them boys so bad. Just.
Do you regret not having them now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm too old. Should have bought it anyways.
Remember soaps? The shoes? They were like.
Oh, I thought you just like. Did you ever use soap as a kid? I miss that stuff.
They were like shoes that had like grind plastic, like you would have with like roller blades.
In the center, like embedded, like yeah.
Soaps.
I think I had some of those. Those things were fucking badass.
You could just like run up to a fucking curb that's been waxed and just be like on your feet.
Yeah, be able to grind on your shoes.
Yeah.
Hop up on a rail,
sweet.
you know.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It was a blast, dude.
Give you a member berry that you guys forgot. It was like the unpoppable balloons or whatever you can get. There was like that one commercial with that lady with the fork and could try to pop that balloon, or not a balloon. It was like a bubble.
She's like, try to pop this balloon, kids.
No, I don't remember that. I remember there was like that Remember
you
the
blew
little
it up
like
in a straw.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that. You'd be like,
you could blow a bubble in a bubble in a bubble.
It was literally just like a little pack of super poisonous chemicals. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like that shit was so toxic.
Here, kids.
Like remember how toxic that shit would? It just smelled like fresh spray paint or something. That shit was just so toxic, and you would just be like, you'd blow it up, and then all of a sudden all the chemicals would just like slowly blow back into your lungs.
Did we talk last season about like back in the 50s how they used to sell like these little like depleted uranium kits to kids?
I know, but I've seen some shit like that. Some like like a list of like
position, but
10
it was like
worst toys or something.
It was like a nuclear toy.
Yeah. It was literally had like it was terrible.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome.
Sounds
Remember
good to
back
me.
in the day when we all used to practice alchemy? That was cool.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Skyrim.
I still do it.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
What about
I had alchemy for breakfast.
Play-Doh. Were y'all playing with Play-Doh? You Play-Doh folks?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Play-Doh was the bomb. Technically, it probably could be.
He
used
played with a
as
Play-Doh bomb.
Sure.
Yeah.
But somebody somewhere figured out a way to make a Play-Doh bomb. I mean, it's just
Did you ever make your own Play-Doh?
human nature.
No.
No,
That was called
Play-Doh
dog
back
poop.
in the day. And then sometimes I remember It'd be like a. It'd come out more like a slime than like a.
I mean,
a Play-Doh. You never made that shit? Some like homemade shit.
Yeah, I tried. Yeah.
Rob's just digging in his cat litter, thinking it's fucking Play-Doh.
You guys remember Nickelodeon Floam?
Or just slime in general.
I feel
it
like
was Gak.
Floam. Yeah.
It was pretty much like Floam was like Gak, but with like styrofoam, like a million little pieces of styrofoam in it, and you could rip it. It'd be like.
It had pretty good structure.
Yeah, you could like.
Yeah.
Gak.
Just
What
the
a
way it
weird
ripped
name
was
for
super
something.
satisfying. It's like they had some really Gak. They had some that smelled so bad. Remember when like the scents came out? And I remember one was like, it was like suntan lotion, smelled so fucking bad. Another one was pizza, smelled so bad. And then they had one that was hot dogs. So bad.
If there was one that was ranch, I would be all about it.
Oh my god. Ranch Gak. If they had ranch Gak, there's no way you wouldn't rip off a piece and eat it.
No, I'd put $1,000
There's no
into
way
their stock.
Ryan would have made it to this year.
I mean, I wish I had Floam right now, because I'm just like remembering how it'd like, the satisfying the way it'd like rip apart in your hands.
Everybody on eBay selling this shit's just gonna get rich after this episode from Rob buying it all.
Once upon a time, Ray and I were talking about Goop. Remember Goop?
Yeah, it was just a store.
Or
the product.
I was gonna say the
product.
store made by what's her name from Iron Man, Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop.
Physical location that you could go to play with. You could play with Gak. You could play with slime. You could play with fucking whatever. Like it's all the random things that you would just fidget.
Yeah,
with
that
and
random
fuck
sand
with.
shit, mechanical like tiny magnetic buckyballs and shit. Like
Yeah,
Buckyballs. What
yeah, but buckyballs.
the fuck is a buckyball?
little tiny magnets
not-
to fuck around with.
Yeah, I'm not making that term up.
Oh, Bucky Balls.
It's not like sucking the Winter Soldier's dick or something. Is that what you're talking about?
No, mine didn't go there.
Yeah, but those you can't be fucking around with them Bucky Balls, man.
No more you can't say it now. Bucky balls.
So that's a place that really existed, or are you saying that would be a cool place?
That would
No,
be cool.
we were talking about making it a place once upon a time. Like,
It is a
turning-
place.
Opening a
There's
location.
a store called Goop, and it's
Yeah,
ran by Gwyneth Paltrow.
That is true, and I'd like to
Is it the same premise? You
point
just go
out-
and play with nostalgic items?
the fact
No,
that
not at all.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's awful, and it's not the same idea, and she stole our name.
JonTron.
Yeah, exactly. JonTron has a good video on it. It's just like a bunch
Speaking
of
of JonTron,
holistic.
John, I watched a lot of DC Universe. I watched a lot of DC cartoons when I was a kid
Oh,
too.
really? I watched a lot of Marvel
Justice League.
ones.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of Marvel when I was
No
young.
X-Men?
I watch more Marvel now because live action's better. But
Batman
I watched a
animated
little bit of
series.
X-Men.
Batman
sure.
animated
I
series
watched
for sure.
Batman.
Yeah,
Batman
fucking
Beyond.
Batman Beyond was
No.
the shit. I'm
That's good.
so stoked for that remake.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah, Batman Beyond
Wow.
was good though. Bruce Wayne was just this old fucking useless man.
Harry McGinnis.
Tatty
Nope.
McGinnis?
Harry McGinnis, I believe.
Tatty?
Harry.
Tatty? Tatty
He's got a
McGinnis?
last name, McGinnis. I just had to go Irish with it.
Oh my
I don't like
goodness.
that.
So yeah, that's all solid shit. What else you guys got on the nostalgia list?
Well, definitely at the top of my list on most recent things that have actually impacted my life with nostalgia is I was really highly anticipating and now playing a lot less than I thought I was going to, but still a pretty good game, Pokemon.
Oh, the Sword and Shield.
I've never
yeah.
done anything Pokemon related.
I dig it. I dig it a lot. I've been playing it a lot.
I think the new game is great. I think the new Pokemon are all fucking retarded, but I think the new game is great.
Dropping
Oh,
the dropping the big one there.
Hard on.
We'll see how that we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that flies on the interwebs. Guess we'll find
Get
out.
away!
Probably a little lopsided.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah, the new Pokemon.
dang.
They're fucking retarded.
We'll get
I'm gonna end with
23
the hard
comments.
R.
I know, I'm sorry. Hard.
Hard.
The second hard R you don't want.
First one's raised dick.
Jesus. Anyways, Pokemon's good, Ray's wrong. Move on.
I've heard good things about Pokemon, but I don't think I could enjoy going back and playing it.
I mean,
I've never seen the show. I've never played it.
But don't get me wrong. I still have Pokemon cards. Don't get me wrong.
I thought the movies were all pretty good. I haven't watched any of the newest movies, but like, was it Pokemon 2000? Was that the name of it? Pokemon 2000? That was with Lugia, right? That was a.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was a solid Pokemon movie.
Yeah, they're decent. Yeah.
But
Pokemon.
The new game's just much better.
What about?
Like it's got so much shit in it.
What about the movie with Ryan Reynolds? You see that?
Yeah, it looks like a video game, kind of.
No, the Pokemon one.
Oh,
Detective Pikachu.
I haven't watched it yet.
It was good. I liked it.
I heard it was good.
Yeah, it was really good. It's like a very obvious twist in it that you can see pretty early on, but overall it's pretty good. It's probably the most accurate for like a Pokemon fan because it just shows so many different like ones outside of just Pikachu. Like, so somebody who's a fan.
Did you say Pikachu?
Yes, he did.
Pikachu.
Now, if you recall moments ago when I said I've never done anything Pokemon related, I know that just this guy's over here a fan rambling about the games and shit, and I know you can't say things like Pikachu.
Fuck you. I always said Pikachu.
You've always said that?
Yeah, Pikachu. P-I, Pikachu.
I mean, I've definitely never heard that.
Someone please.
Pick up. Getting closer to the hard
R. Almost came through with that second hard R, man. Oh my god.
Anyways, let's move past Pokemon and hard R's. What about Prince of Persia? I don't know.
Prince of Persia? What about Prince of Persia, dude? Are they making a new movie or game or something? I swear to God.
No.
That was just random.
Yeah, if someone played those.
Off topic for sure, but did you guys see Sony fucking stole all them scenes from that anime? All those different anime they like took a bunch of different scenes from anime, then like kind of put their own character going through all of them, and like they didn't give credit to like any of the original animators or anything, and they got in some pretty deep shit because it was clearly I
didn't see that.
It was a cut for like clearly there, and it was quick too. Like it'd be like 1 or 2 seconds from here, and it would look completely different, but it was like the same scene traced over with different fucking elements. It was
for which game?
It was like just a PlayStation 4 in general commercial. Just do PlayStation 4 plagiarism.
Yeah, I did not see that. Classic PlayStation nostalgia.
Now, did we see if Brian, if you shared your screen, if we'd be able to see that? Did we ever test that in real time or no?
No, but
let's test it in real time.
Like the present. Give me 1 second. Let me find it.
Let me find it.
While he's searching for that, do you guys have nostalgia for holiday hams? Okay.
I would have slapped you in the face if I was sitting right next to you. What does nostalgia for holiday hams even mean? What is it?
I don't know.
They take you back to ham?
Grandma's house.
Yeah. The grandma's house. I don't know. I was just filling dead air.
Just filling dead air with fucking ham, dude.
Filling dead air with fucking ham.
Unreal.
Better than with not ham.
Are you seeing my shits here?
Oh no, not on the cast, but I can see it in the thing. Yeah, look at that. Clearly fucking ripping and dipping there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, unfortunately not coming through on the podcast, but yeah, they fucked up bad that time.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
It's crazy that like
this is nuts.
What's crazy if you watch
thought this was a good idea?
Well, if you watch the original, it's not all tied together like this.
No, it's all different. Yeah.
Like they have like clips of like games and they're like peppering this kind of shit in between the clips, but yeah, it's like it's the same fucking thing. For sure.
Holy that's crazy. Shit.
Yeah, they got into some trouble. I think that was Sony Japan, Sony something.
Only
Did
so.
that.
You guys remember 3D Pinball Space Cadet?
Oh yeah, I beat that. There's a way you could actually beat that. You're talking about the old school pinball on Microsoft, like with Ski Free and shit. Yeah. Remember Ski Free?
Remember Ski Free, that fucking Yeti?
Oh yeah.
That'd come down and eat you.
I did not.
I didn't play that.
You never like the little like
I remember Minesweeper.
little ski guy.
Well, yeah, but that's Ryan. So like he probably played the game, but he probably didn't make it far enough to even see the Yeti.
No.
He probably just ran into trees over and over again.
Accurate. How about them rolling in that TV during class and you're like, oh shit, it's movie time.
Do you guys remember the early days of personal email when Yahoo Games was a real big thing? And like hundreds of thousands of people would be on there playing like pool and euchre and chess.
Dude,
oh hell yeah,
I
dude.
still miss those days.
Yahoo Games. Oh my god. I'd play literati, pool, chess, like you said. Fuck yeah, man. Literati was just Scrabble.
Amazing.
How about going down those metal slides and then getting stuck every 5 inches?
Why were you getting stuck, dude?
Going
You
down
can never
slides naked.
Yeah.
There's always some asshole kid who like doesn't know how to use a slide and just slide down and get stuck in the middle. That's
Like,
fucking
uses
that's
his
Ryan
feet,
right
like,
there.
His shoes are flat on the slide or something. Just being
His short shorts are like all the way up and it's just straight skin, cheeks
Yeah.
on the fucking metal.
My jorts.
Yeah.
One thing that's like fun to look back on, but it's so shitty. Like in reality, for sure, it's all 100% nostalgia. Is looking at playing online Diablo 2 on a 64K modem.
Nope.
Like
Yeah, that's old school.
you never did that shit.
No, I didn't. Not personally.
Oh
never-
my god!
Did you say
Diablo guy
64K?
myself.
I mean
It was
56K.
or 56K. Yeah, 56K modem.
Oh shit.
It would, dude. You'd have to download an update, and no one could use the phone for 3 days.
Yeah. Or like
What about
just
rock?
a song would
Guitar
at the
Hero?
best case scenario, a song would download in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Best case scenario.
First time I picked up Guitar Hero, I fucking sucked at Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Absolutely sucked. My brother actually beat me, which is crazy, and that doesn't happen with me in video games. So I spent like the next week or something like that just getting to expert
Perfecting
in
Guitar Hero.
Rocket League and
Yeah.
Rocket
You
League.
became a
and-
jukebox
and,
hero.
Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
And re-challenged my brother again.
And you had stars in your
Put
eyes.
him to train.
Kicked
You had
his ass.
You had the pick of
absolutely.
destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause it's a pig!
There's Ray. What about Rock Band and those drums and shit when they brought that in?
Hey,
thought that was
like I said, I was just on eBay
I
recently.
like Guitar Hero drums better than.
Those drum
Yeah.
sets are going for a fucking nice chunk of fucking change, man. I seen like a whole set going for fucking $300.
That's
Swear-
crazy.
swear to God.
You can just go to a landfill and find 50 of them for a square foot.
I know, just go grab them, and fucking resell them, man. They're
50
fucking going.
They're all stacked on top of each other, okay?
Wouldn't make it square foot. I don't know.
Yeah, I used to get down on the Guitar Hero for sure.
Oh,
I kind of like it phased out for me before like I did have a drum set, one of the fucking Guitar Hero ones, which I liked a little better because it had the cymbals. But I didn't get to play it much because I was over it by then. I was like, oh man, I'm just not feeling it anymore. I got into the singing, the playing, and the drums a little bit, but there's too much of it because I was around since Guitar Hero 2, so I was quite a few
It's
Guitar
weird to
Heroes.
see how the rhythm games have evolved. Like DDR was before that, and that was huge. Like those kids that would hang out at the arcades and they somehow are so crazy good at it. And then it went to Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and nowadays it's more of like Beat Saber and Pistol Whip's a new one.
I would still play. I've been playing Guitar Hero a little bit as of lately, like one of the newer ones for the. I've got it for the Xbox One. It just the game's kind of they're not the song lineups and the amount of songs. I feel it just got shittier as the time progressed.
Yeah, Rocksmith was pretty big after that.
Is that the one where you could plug in an actual guitar?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I just
They
actually
taught you
threw
how to play
away.
guitar.
I have that cable. I just threw it away actually. Had a little kink in it.
I was thinking about buying that once upon a time, but I didn't. I don't know. I wasn't really sold on the whole idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
Using
there you go.
Rocksmith to learn how to play guitar.
Yeah, like I was. Well, maybe if I never knew how to play, it might be cool. But I felt like at my level, it would be a waste. I didn't feel like it. It was.
You
I
just
felt
put
like
it
it was
on.
more
You
better
can put it on a
cool
higher
for making
difficulty.
Can
This
it?
one.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the way it works. It like starts like you'll start off just like easy, and it'll take you through the main notes, right? Once you get the main notes down, it'll fucking add up. Because you can plug in any guitar. You don't have to use. You don't use like a game guitar. You just plug in your actual guitar.
Right.
And then you have to fucking tune it so it fucking understands everything, and then you fucking play so it knows when you're fucking on and when you're off. And then it
I should
fucking
give it a whirl.
when you've played well enough, it goes, all right, now we add in a couple more notes, and by the time you finish the very hard, you can actually play that song. So it's like you use it like you download the songs if you want to learn them, right? So like you download it, and then like you want to learn a fucking song, it's like $1 or $1.50 or something. You download it. By the time you fucking finish very hard, you can actually play the song.
Are you playing Rock Band over there right now, Rob? Because you're looking a little sweaty over there.
I was just watching Cops.
Do you guys overall think that nostalgia is a good thing or a bad thing when it comes to I don't know,
Bad
just
thing.
I think
It's got its ups and downs for sure.
yeah.
Depends on who you are.
It's bad.
Because obviously, like, a bad case and a good case are like the two latest fucking Ghostbusters, adaptations, I'll say. So it's like that one before this last one, it was fucking really poorly received.
That was the most politically correct way to fucking
Yeah.
say that. Piece of shit.
It was
You're
bad.
such-
It was so bad, and like they didn't pay any homage to like the first one at all. They just like shit on the fucking first one. Like it was so fucking bad. It was just there wasn't anything there. Like there's no reason it had to have Ghostbusters attached to it at all. It could have been called anything else, and you could have taken the logo out, and it would have been fucking completely different. It's like they just fucking slapped it on for nostalgia reasons, and it fucking people didn't like it because it didn't pay any homage. There wasn't fucking almost anything from the first one, and the whole fucking thing that there wasn't even a script for the movie, and the whole thing was like improvised, and they just fucking cut up. Ridiculous. It was just fucking stupid. You could tell it was just poorly fucking made. It was not a good movie. And like Leslie Jones from SNL is all pissed off. I don't know if you haven't seen. She's been talking shit on Twitter because they were like, "Oh, we wanted to make another one, and this is bullshit that they're doing this."
I hate her so much.
They're pretty much shitting on us, and it's just like, no, you guys fucking shit on the entire fucking franchise, and this shit actually looks good.
Yeah, like.
So I think that's a good pick. Obviously, we haven't seen the new one.
No one likes it. No big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall in pop culture, nostalgia is definitely a weird thing for sure. Because like Brian alluded to earlier, like you can visit your old things that you used to love. Like I was looking at the Rotten Tomato reviews after I watched Jumanji, the second level or whatever the hell it's called, and I looked at the review for the original Jumanji in the '90s, and they only gave it like a 50%. I'm like, what? And then I like got to thinking about it, and I'm like, that overall was not a really good movie at all. It was actually pretty shitty, other than Robin Williams having his parts.
Yeah.
Is like
and the
really
CGI at
acting.
the time, even some of that there's a really bad CGI moments, but there's still some really good ones.
Oh yeah,
like the rhinos running through the house and shit. Like that is fucking solid. The fucking monkeys were bad, but yeah, that was. That's a big thing too. Movies in particular are I think a big one because like there's a lot of them that are like, man, that movie was so good as I was a kid, and you go back and rewatch them. Some of them that I was just like, that's one of my favorite movies as a kid, were just so trash. Ninja Turtles 1, 2, and 3. 1, still good, still a solid movie. 2 and 3 are just pure dog shit. It was just like, how did I even like sometimes when you're like, obviously you're a kid, you're not thinking about that kind of shit, but just like the insane loopholes where you're just like, what? Why would they even how did I never even think about that as a kid? You're just watching it like, this is so cool, Ninja Turtles. They're just like
Power
shit
Rangers.
that's just so bad.
I was gonna say that
Rangers.
too.
Mhm.
Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, Power
Fucking
Rangers
terrible.
so awful.
Power Rangers toys though of the '90s were some of the best toys ever made in the history of
For
fucking
sure, yeah.
time. as
Dude,
far as
having the little fucking like thing so you could throw it out and I had the fucking, you know, obviously the Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, the fucking
Little-
morph
the
into
morpher,
It's morphin'
yeah.
time.
All
Dude,
your
those
friends
fucking
had to have one of
Megazords were
those.
Shit.
You know, obviously you guys probably
Assembling
know
all of
this.
them and putting them all together.
But, like,
Legos, dude. Legos.
The idea of, we'll talk about Legos here in a minute, but before we go to Legos, the idea of like Power Rangers was just like an old show with just like those robots fighting, and they just like made like they just twisted some weird like American kids into it, and then just cut in. They're like, oh yeah, they can also transform into these giant robots and fight, and they would just cut in movies of this old Japanese like these things fighting, and that's what fucking that shit was. It wasn't even like the same, made by the same people. They just took old cuts of these
So
old
they had
those
an
old like
sci-fi movie of
yeah,
like,
what they called like those
fighting,
kaijus.
and-
That's what they called those kaijus
That's
fighting.
hilarious.
And they just fucking like adapted it. They're like, we'll fucking have this American drama of these people that can change, so they can transform into those, and we'll show them fighting. You know, just like two completely different things, which was super cool. But Legos, that was
Jesus Christ.
that was crazy. We just, and I'm sure I know this has been told 1,000 times, but you know, back in the day, it was just like you'd get a box of Legos. You know, like kind of like a big fucking jug of Legos, and it would just have a book in it, and the book had just like, you could build a car, you could build a house, this is how you build it with the pieces, and like,
You can build your dad that
threw
ran
that
away.
book away every single time I got it back.
yeah, I mean, obviously you just build your shit, but like, it's I'm sure they still sell it like that, but now it's just more like super overpriced, like little sets. Where
Oh
it's
my
like,
god, yeah.
This
Here's
is the
a $300 set if you want to do a Millennium Falcon.
yeah,
Dude,
and that's the one
I
thing
know.
you can build with those pieces.
Yeah,
I
I
just
mean, you
seen,
can
like,
build
a
other
Death
things,
Star.
but
Sure.
that's what it's for. And then if you ever want to go back, like never
Yeah.
gonna work.
Yeah, it was Death Star one. I think it was listed on Amazon for like $400 or $500. I'm like,
Sure.
what?
Yeah, that's wild.
It'd be a blast.
That's so
It'd be a
crazy to
blast,
me.
But I'm not
Let's
gonna
do it in
spend that kind of-
Minecraft. I mean, that's how Minecraft made its money. Virtual fucking Legos.
Yeah.
Creepers.
Well, that's
For-
really where
For
Legos
400 to
make
500
money
bucks,
now
you could
too,
just
right?
buy a 3D printer, print the individual parts, and then put them together yourself. And then
You
you'd
can
have a 3D printer.
Print your dad that went to go get milk and never came back.
Are you talking about printing 3D printers?
Ooh. Free energy. Plug a surge protector into itself.
I think that's a good one then, though.
Print electricity. Yeah, that hits right about that mark we were looking for too here. So let's wrap it up, boys. Any final thoughts? Nostalgia, obviously a good thing. It can be a bad thing. I think overall,
Nostalgia sucks.
I think it's a good thing to have, as long as it doesn't have the bad intentions, like
Yeah, it's a double-edged
spelling the
sword.
stuff that makes you think of the good things, and you know.
No, I agree.
As long as you don't dwell into the past, because if you look in the rearview mirror too long, you might get in an accident.
Yeah, you know, and don't make a fucking all-female fucking Ghostbusters.
Dude.
Yeah, you might say something shitty like fucking Lunchables are awesome.
How dare you? I still eat.
Slimy wet meats. That's gonna be the last words. Slimy wet meats. All right, y'all. Snap it down.
Right, get in this.
Peace. Bitches.